Hey guys, what's up? This is Mario here, bringing you guys another video, and today I'm going to be going over all of the loot drops that you guys can receive from the Crota's End raid in Destiny, so hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this, and so here we go. So I thought I'd update this video for you guys because in the last video I made a few errors, and there's also been some loot drops that have been modified, and there's even been one added. So I wanted to update this video to let you guys know what has been changed with the loot drops. Also hard mode's been added, and so we have a better idea of what drops from that. So I'm going to be updating this video, that's all I can really tell you guys. One thing to note just before we get into things is that normal mode drops will still drop in hard mode. It's just some of them are quite rare because the good loot system that they've got for Crota's End, when you're in hard mode, the game assumes that you want hard mode drops, so it's going to try and actually give you hard mode drops and not stuff you can get in normal mode. So if you don't get normal mode stuff in hard mode, that's just the good loot system in the works. But yeah, let's get right into things. So we're going to be going over each loot drop from the very first one that you can get to the very last one that you can get. If you was to get every single one, that's assuming you don't have to get the loot chests, but I'm going to be doing them in order. So anyways, the first loot drop that you can get in Crota's End is from the first loot chest. The loot chest is located in the pits, where you do the first stage with the lamps. In the raid, and basically it's located, there's a bunch of doors scattered around the pits, and each run that you do, a random door will have an orange glowing diamond above it. If you go into that door, the chest will just be sitting there. You can get all your fight team over, and when you open it, you will receive radiant materials. There's nothing else you can receive, so that's radiant shards or radiant energy. You can't receive anything else from this drop, unfortunately, but yeah, I guess radiant materials are good for upgrading the armor and weapons that you're going to be getting. So the second loot drop that you guys can get is for traversing the pits. So this is for going through all of the lamps in the first part through the Weight of Darkness, and then sitting on the pad at the end, fighting off all of the enemies, then crossing and going through like the tunnel with the light at the end, and then when you reach the end of the tunnel, you'll get your rewards. So you can receive radiant materials from this reward, and you usually will. This is radiant shards and radiant energies. You can also have the chance to receive a class item, so this is the Bone Circlet for the Warlock, the Shroud of Flies for the Hunter, or Mark of the Pit for the Titan. For armor, you can receive the Gauntlets. You cannot receive any other piece of armor from this part of the raid. The Gauntlets for Titans, it's the Willbreaker's Fists, for Hunters, it's the Dogged Gauge, and for Warlocks, it's the Deathsinger's Grip. And in hard mode, you can also have the chance to get a weapon from this drop, and that is the Oversoul Edict, which is a legendary pulse rifle that you can only obtain from the Crota's End raid. So the third loot drop that you guys can get is for crossing the bridge. So this is the stage where you've got to kill the sword bearer, then cross the bridge with the sword, kill the gatekeeper, do that 6 times with each person, and then you've got to kill the 2 ogres that will spawn in, and then you'll get your rewards. So for doing this part, you can get radiant materials, which is just radiant shards and radiant energies. For armor, you have the chance to receive either the chest piece or the leg armor. You cannot receive any other piece of armor from this part of the raid. So for the chest piece, Titans have the chance to get the Willbreaker's Resolve, Hunters have the chance to get the Relentless Harness, and Warlocks can get the Deathsinger's Mantle. For leg armor, Titans can get the Willbreaker's Greaves, Hunters can get the Tireless Striders, and Warlocks can get the Deathsinger's Herald. For weapons, from normal mode, you actually have the chance to get 5 weapons. These are Light of the Abyss, a legendary fusion rifle, Swordbreaker, a legendary shotgun, Black Hammer, a legendary sniper rifle, Song of Ur-Ute, a legendary machine gun, and Hunger of Crota, a legendary rocket launcher. And then from hard mode, you also have the chance to receive Abyss Defiant, which is a legendary auto rifle, and you'll also rarely have the chance to receive Oversoul Edict, which is a legendary pulse rifle. For the fourth loot drop, it's the second loot chest, so this loot chest can be obtained by running down the corridor with the 2 Shriekers on the ceiling. If you run down there quick enough, kill the 2 Shriekers quick enough, there'll be a door that is open at the end with a chest sitting on the other side. If you can get even one teammate across, then the doors will reopen and everybody can grab the chest. From the second loot chest, of course, you can only receive radiant materials, so that's radiant shards and radiant energies. The fifth loot drop that you guys can get is for killing Ur-Ute the Deathsinger. So this is the part of the raid where you run into the Crota room, you've got to draw out the 2 wizards and kill them, then run into the rooms and kill the 2 Shriekers, then you've got to kill Ur-Ute who's sitting in the middle of the room. Everybody just launches grenades and rockets and everything that you've got. Then once she's dead, everybody runs back outside the room, kills a bunch of the adds, and when enough of the adds are killed, then you'll receive this loot drop. So from this loot drop you can get radiant materials, so radiant shards and radiant energies. You also have a chance to receive a class item, so for warlocks it's the bone circlet, for hunters it's the shroud of flies, and for titans it's mark of the pit. And then finally you have a chance to receive any random exotic weapon in the game. You can't receive exotic armor pieces from this drop, but you can receive any exotic weapon apart from the Vex Mythoclast and the Necrochasm, which you'll have to obtain as like a special raid drop from either Vault of Glass or Crota's End. So the 6th and final loot drop that you guys can get from the raid is for defeating Crota himself. From this loot drop you can receive radiant materials, which is radiant shards and radiant energies. For armor, you can receive the helmet. You cannot receive any other piece of armor. For titans, this is the Willbreaker's Watch. For hunters, this is the Unyielding Casque. And for warlocks, it's the Deathsinger's Gaze. For weapons, in normal mode, you can receive Light of the Abyss, a legendary fusion rifle, Swordbreaker, a legendary shotgun, Black Hammer, a legendary sniper rifle, Song of Eerie Ute, a legendary machine gun, and Hunger of Crota, a legendary rocket launcher. You can also receive a bunch of miscellaneous items in normal mode. If it's your first time killing Crota, you'll receive the cryptographic shader and the Crota's End emblem. And then you also have a chance to receive the Light in the Abyss ship anytime. It doesn't have to be your first run, which is of course a legendary ship from normal mode. Now we move on to the hard mode only drops, and there's actually quite a few of them. So the first and of course the main drop is the Crux of Crota, which is an exotic material. And this is used to upgrade Eidolon Ally into Necrochasm, and Necrochasm of course being the raid weapon for Crota's End. And so you're going to need this of course to get the main raid weapon. From what I've heard it's actually not too great at the moment, but hopefully they'll have patched it if you guys are watching this in the future. For other weapons that you guys can receive from the Crota in hard mode, you can receive Fang of Eerie Ute, a legendary scout rifle, and Word of Crota, a legendary hand cannon. And then finally, there is a bunch of miscellaneous items you can receive from hard mode. This includes the S13 Grave Robber, which is a legendary sparrow, the Glowhoo legendary shader, which is a shader again, but you can only receive it from hard mode, and you can also receive the Bane of the Dark God ship, legendary ship again. It looks slightly different to the Light in the Abyss, but it's slightly different. And then there's two more things to note about hard mode. The first thing being that helmets will drop more frequently in hard mode. So in normal mode you can still receive a helmet. I've personally received the Warlock helmet from normal mode, but in hard mode you will have a higher chance of receiving the helmet. And then another thing to note is that Necrochasm itself does not drop. You cannot receive Necrochasm from completing hard mode. You have to upgrade it with the Crux of Crota. I've stressed this in the previous video, and I'm going to stress it now. You guys are going to have to work to get your Necrochasm. You guys can't just get it from completing hard mode. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. That's all the loot drops that you guys can get from the Crota's End raid. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, remember to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for daily gaming content. Remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Twitch. Links in the description below. And I'll see you guys in another video. So until then, ciao.